Hey guys, if you don't follow me in like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you're not awesome. Okay? I'm sorry. You're not awesome if you don't follow me on social media. And, I admit that I was like slacking off for a long time with, Twitter and stuff like that. I've been posting a lot of videos to YouTube. And now I am going to try and start to be more consistent with, like I said, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Just look up anaerobics, you'll find me. Now, I'm saying this because I posted some screenshots to some articles recently in my other social media that have proven what I've been saying for a long time. And that is that the cholesterol myth, the killer cholesterol myth, the high fat will kill you cholesterol myth was fake, profit driven, and commercially, not scientifically created, okay? So what I'm going to do is I am going to have links to two different articles down in the description below. Definitely, if you never read anything else that I ever tell you about, please read both of these articles, okay? Because this, like I said, this is showing really what I was talking about in my last video, for instance, about, doctors prescribing to you medication because they're going to get kickbacks from the pharmaceutical industry. Instead of trying to heal you, they're trying to keep you alive by taking medication that you wouldn't need if you weren't sick, and you wouldn't be sick if you were just healthy. This is coming in from a completely different way. And it really blows me away because when I first started talking about the steak and eggs diet, mostly in Instagram, because I was showing my food and the workouts, like the shape I was in on the different diets, all kinds of vegetarians would come in, nothing against them, but they would come in and start talking like, man, that's big business, and big business is trying to get you to buy their meat, and it's going to kill people, and you got to follow the money, Well, I'm going to go ahead and talk about follow the money in another video, okay? But in this video, what I just want to talk about is, like I said the whole time, it's the fucking cereal people who are abusing scientific studies, misguiding the public, misguiding the damn government, okay, lobbying in the face of scientific evidence to keep selling their crap. So, like I said, all the vegetarians who say, oh, it's like the bacon industry that's trying to, make this high-fat bullshit. Bullshit. It's not true. So here, let me just go ahead and read. I made a couple screenshots, so I'm going to go ahead and read just a little bit from these two articles. But definitely click on the links in the description and read them in their entirety. Okay, this one's from the University of California, San Francisco's website. Sugar papers reveal industry role in shifting national heart disease focus to saturated fat. A newly discovered cache of industry documents revealed that the sugar industry began working closely with nutrition scientists in the mid-1960s to single out fat and cholesterol as the dietary causes of coronary heart disease, and to downplay the evidence that sucrose consumption was also a risk factor. The internal industry documents, which were found in public archives, showed that a sugar industry trade organization recognized as early as 1954 that if Americans adopted low-fat diets, then per capita consumption of sucrose would increase by more than 1/3. Meanwhile, evidence linking sugar consumption to high blood cholesterol and triglyceride levels, both thought to be risk factors for coronary heart disease, began to emerge in the scientific literature and popular press. So that means when these guys were trying to say, fat's going to kill you, eat our sugary snacks and eat our sugary cereals, okay? Well, they were trying to do that. The truth that sugar is bad for you started to come out in independent research articles written by researchers that weren't bought by the sugar industry. So, what do you do when the truth comes out? I'll tell you what they did. After a 1965 spike in media attention to the heart disease risks of sucrose, the sugar industry commissioned Project 226. That just sounds fucking scary. I mean, that sounds like something that like Emperor with all the wrinkles from Star Wars would come up with. Project 226. It was a literature review written by researchers at the Harvard University School of Public Health Nutrition Department, which was published in the highly respected New England Journal of Medicine in 1967. It concluded there was, quote, no doubt that the only dietary intervention required to prevent coronary heart disease was to reduce dietary cholesterol and substitute polyunsaturated fat for saturated fat in the American diet. Now, listen to this. To conduct the literature review, the sugar industry paid the Harvard scientists the equivalent of $50,000 in 2016 dollars. Then, the sugar industry, then set the review's objective, contributed articles to be included, and received drafts. Yet, the industry's funding and role were not disclosed in the final NEJM, New England Journal of Medicine publication. Okay, let's look at this for a second here. Okay, the sugar industry pays Harvard scientists $50,000 to write a paper. Then they set the review's objective. You know what that means? That means they told them what they wanted the results to be. They didn't say, let's test this and see what happens. They said, I want you to prove this, okay? However you've got to do it, make sure that this is the result. I don't care how you have to set up your, experiments, okay? They set the review's objective. They contributed articles. Hey, why don't you tell people this? Okay? They received drafts. If the Harvard scientists wrote something that the sugar industry didn't want to come out, then guess what? No, we're not going to let you publish this. We're paying you $50,000. Write what we want you to write. We don't like what you've written so far. And once again, like I said, the sugar industry's funding and role were never mentioned in the final paper. So what I'm basically trying to say here is, like I said this for a long time. You know, you've got a guy, Vince Gironda, okay? And yes, if I concentrate really hard, I can actually pronounce his name right. Vince Gironda. Rio Blair, okay, another nutritionist from the golden age of bodybuilding. You know, he had all of these people, you know, going ahead and, going on high-fat, low-carb diets. You know, they were healthy, happy, lean, everything's going great. Then all of a sudden, you know, people come up and they're like, hey, you know, that's completely wrong. You're going to kill people. First of all, I think it's pretty cool that Mr. Gironda stuck to his guns and, you know, continued to say that cholesterol scare and all that is bullshit, okay? He continued to say that, like, lots of eggs, you know, the like eggs and half or eggs and heavy cream shakes, you know, with milk, maybe with some protein powder in it, would raise your cholesterol, would have cholesterol, which would raise your testosterone, increase your strength, build muscle faster, you know, good stuff, right? He stuck to his guns and said it was bullshit the whole time. He didn't, you know, cower. But the fact of the matter is, everybody did cower. And the fact is, guess what? We are fatter than we've ever been before. Our testosterone levels are lower than they've ever been before. We are weaker than we've ever been before this whole cholesterol scare ever came out. So like I said, in the next video, I'm going to talk a little bit about, like, the finances, okay? A little bit about, like, hey, like the vegetarians say, chase the money. I'm going to talk about, like, the money trail, okay, in nutrition and in food. And but all I wanted to say right now is, like I said, look at this, because this is really proof. And it just came out very recently, okay? Very recently, just a couple months ago, this paper was found, okay? And all these studies were found, and the truth finally came out. But like I said, I've been saying it for a long time. The fact of the matter is, the whole cholesterol scare was basically, how do we sell more cereal? Well, we tell people that bacon and eggs will kill you, so you should have our cereal for breakfast instead. Okay? And that's the way it came down. Finally, proof. Read those articles. Links in the description. And follow me on social media. Just look up anaerobics. You'll find me. Thanks.